shepherd, black and tan, answers to the name of Joe, accused of attacking his trainer, Sergeant Will Corey. A crime he did not commit. Only Corey can prove him innocent, but he must find Joe before his pursuers track him down.
Battle of the Network shows. Join Rick Brooks and Mike Kogel as they explore the TV of the 70s and 80s through hand-picked episodes of their favorite and not-so-favorite series.
Welcome to another Battle of the Network shows. I'm Mike, here with Rick again, and we've got a special treat for you today. It's a listener request, and it's also a rarity. Probably a show you're not going to be able to find out there.
Yeah, this is really one from the vaults, folks.
Yeah.
Not easily available.
We watched it from a questionably sourced DVD copy of a questionably sourced VHS.
I think it's not available commercially, but I think it's only available probably for people that have film prints. I mean, the source was like film prints for probably like film collectors, and actually we watched it in black and white, even though it was a color show. Right. But it's definitely worth seeing if you can find it.
Yeah. So this show is called Run, Joe, Run, and our friend Amy requested this, and actually the tape she watched, you procured for her.
I did. Well,
from the dark web, right?
Yes, that makes it sound much more interesting than. I was actually in my travels. I found a salt mine in New Zealand, and I had to go down about 30 feet to get way away from the entrance and back around a tunnel. I turned right, and then I actually fell another 10 feet, and down there I found an old film canister that had this episode of Run, Joe, Run on it.
Okay,
and I brought it back to the States
and transferred it to VHS.
I did. Yes.
Yeah. She actually had to loan us a VCR so we could copy the tape on the DVD.
Yes.
These times where you can't just go buy a new VCR for $20.
I know. Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, this is part of our television heritage. There's a lot of stuff lying around on VHS probably, let alone, film or, 16 millimeter film or whatever that hasn't been transferred yet. So people hang on to those VCRs, please, so that we can spread stuff like this and see it, because I highly doubt that Run, Joe, Run is going to get a commercial DVD release anytime soon. Yeah.
Or at least somebody put this on YouTube.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Everything's on YouTube.
Unfortunately, everything's on YouTube until some copyright lawyer gets wind of it and then removes it 5 minutes later. But this is one I have not seen on YouTube. An episode of this before either. No.
So let me read what Amy wrote for us, and then we'll get into talking about the show, which is about a dog, by the way. Which comes up in what she wrote, so I want to make that clear. I loved Run, Joe, Run. I suppose my fondness for it started because I was a dog-crazy 9-year-old at the time, actively begging for a dog of my own. Some unique elements of the show have never left me after all these years. The trippy music whenever Joe had a slow-motion Vietnam flashback, the dramatic and distinctive theme music, and who could forget that tantalizing $200 reward? Who indeed? You probably heard about that $200 award at the beginning of the show, top of the show. So Run, Joe, Run is about a dog, a German Shepherd named Joe, who's on the run for a crime he didn't commit.
Yes, he's unjustly accused of.
Yeah. So it's kind of, if you ever wanted, Lassie and the Fugitive in one show, you kind of got it here.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. Every episode, he meets a new stranger, helps him out somehow.
Yep.
But he's got to run. So then he meets another stranger. So, when did this air? What?
Well, this particular episode is from October 19th, 1974, the first season. So it was a Saturday morning show on NBC's lineup. It aired at 9:30 a.m. for 2 years. So it had a first season and then a second season where I guess they changed formats slightly.
Yeah.
But it was a half-hour show in color on the NBC network each Saturday morning. So this is something that we don't see too much, it got phased out. Saturday morning program on the networks to begin with, but also the whole phenomenon of live-action television on Saturday mornings,
right.
Which, I mean, you and I grew up with cartoons and, the whole deal, classic cartoons, new cartoons, cartoons based on toys, but there's also usually like a good dose of live-action shows sprinkled throughout, and probably a little bit more in the 70s than the 80s.
Yeah.
This was actually surprisingly not a Filmation production,
right?
But it's kind of reminds you a little bit of those kind of deals where like kind of a moral message, tame, a little bit of child-friendly peril to the show,
yeah.
A little bit of action, but a general family-friendly tone to it, of course.
Shall we talk about why Joe's on the run? I'm honestly a little confused.
We don't know a whole lot. I mean, some of the limited stuff that I've seen on the show, it seems to explain a little bit more than the show itself does.
Right. Like the opening, says he's accused of attacking his trainer.
Yeah.
And you see a German Shepherd biting a guy on the arm.
Yeah, it seems pretty...
in a series of like still photographs.
Right.
And then you see footage of Joe leaping over a fence to go on the run.
Yeah.
And again, we know that he didn't commit this crime. So did another dog commit the crime?
Yeah.
And his trainer, Sergeant William Corey, is pursuing Joe because he's the only one who can prove that Joe's innocent.
Right, he can clear him.
Right. And I don't know why he needs Joe in order to do that.
Right. Can't he
just say my arm's fine?
Yeah.
Or did the dog attack a different trainer?
Yeah, that's. I think it must have been a different person. I'm not sure what the link is there. This missing evidence. Maybe he needs like some DNA evidence.
Right.
Like he can like show the teeth marks or something.
Yeah, compare teeth.
Compare it to.
Because I mean, the dog. They don't say that, but the dog's going to be put down. Joe's going to be put down.
Yeah, it's an army guard dog, I guess,
yeah.
And they're not just going to have the dog Joe peel potatoes for 30 days. If they catch him.
I think, based on what we see of Joe, he might be capable of that.
Of peeling potatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he turns on a water spigot.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a dog do that.
Yeah, he's a sharp guy.
Yeah.
Now...
He has all this army training. Is that why they want him back? Because he has a secret army training.
Yeah, he's too valuable an investment to have possibly have the Ruskies get a hold of him and use him for their purposes.
Yeah.
Well, he actually has a lot of access to a lot of intelligence, actually. He could conceivably defect and spill all kinds of secrets.
That's right. And live a nice life in Russia.
Yeah.
Right.
Some collie over
huskies.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little unclear as to the particulars of that incident, but we're told that he didn't do it.
Right. And he's worth $200, but it also seems like I can't tell. Is Corey working on his own time? Is he? Because his haircut is not a regulation haircut.
No.
He has got some shaggy hair.
Yeah, is Corey himself AWOL? Well, maybe we answered our own question. Maybe Joe is important.
Yeah.
It seems like the Army would have better things to do than send a sergeant out to go around the country looking for this escaped dog. But
and the implication is he's not the only one. Like there's actual Army people pursuing him for
yeah, right.
the purpose of going ahead and getting rid of him.
Yeah.
He's got to know something.
Yeah, there's got to be more to it.
There's something about this dog training program that, I mean, I suspect Corey is completely innocent of any of this, but I think there might have been some shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
Maybe some super soldier dog program.
Right, some underground, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the dog that attacked.
Could be. Yeah. And
maybe they cloned Joe, and the cloning process made him more aggressive.
Yeah, or maybe the clone was the one that did it.
Well, yeah, I think the clone did it too.
Yeah.
I mean, they cloned Joe, and that clone is more aggressive. And
oh, okay, right.
But, or it's just another tan and black dog. What are the odds of a tan and black German Shepherd?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but he's an important canine, Joe is, that's for sure.
But, maybe this is part of the charm of the show, too. Like, how, especially like the original Star Wars, like, a lot of the appeal to fans is the stuff that only gets hinted at in the corners, like people you see in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? Maybe, Run Joe Run, they wanted to focus on the dog on the run and let the audience, the children watching at home, ponder what all the secrets behind it.
Yeah.
What's the mythology?
Fill in the mythology.
And maybe they're waiting for season 3.
Yeah.
Season 3 is going to be the mythology.
Yeah, they had it all laid out.
Yeah. He's going to finally catch the one-armed dog.
Yeah, the three-legged dog.
Three-legged dog
that he saw fled the scene.
Right.
Well, Joe does seem to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
He's a capable animal, but he's got some bad luck.
Yeah.
In this episode, there's a couple times he just gets accused of other stuff that he didn't do.
Right. Yeah.
Like near the beginning, after he turns on that, he's getting a drink after tired on the run. He gets some water, and some brat throws a bottle out of his playpen in the backyard.
He helps the brat.
Yeah, he gives him his bottle, and hysterical mother comes out and thinks that Joe is trying to attack her child.
Yeah.
So Joe has to take off again.
Right, and the guy chases him. I don't know if you saw the credits. The guy who chased him is Donnelly Rhodes, who I know him from Battlestar Galactica reboot, but wasn't he on soap or something too?
Not from
some big show.
We'll have to
look at, and he was recently on that big CW superhero crossover.
Oh,
he was like the government stooge.
I did not recognize him at all.
Yeah,
but now,
I just saw it in the credits. I mean, because he's in the Run Joe Run. Of course, he's in grainy black and white.
Yeah, like a second or third generation copy of a beat up black and white film print. Yes, so it is hard to pick out individual stars. But that's interesting actually. And while you're looking that up, I would say,
he was in Butch Cassidy.
They did get some name actors in this show, and I watched the other episode, another episode after this that had James Hampton in it was the guest star, who was in The Longest Yard and did a lot of television in the 70s, a member of the Burt Pack, I believe. So, I mean, there's pretty good production values in this show. Again, it's kind of hard to tell because we don't have optimal video quality on what we're working with,
right.
But it seems like, especially for a Saturday morning kids show, they brought in some name actors, some veteran character guys, and had some stunts here and there and some location shooting. A lot of this is, takes place outside, which is cool. There's definitely a lot to appeal to it.
Yeah. So he played a character named Dutch on Soap. He was in a dim-witted escaped con.
Well,
and a lot of Canadian stuff because he's Canadian.
Yes, I did not recognize him.
No, I didn't either.
But fortunately, he doesn't get his hands on Joe.
Yeah. So Joe wanders then to a farm and finds I'm gonna call it a pony. Amy's an equine expert. She's explained to us that ponies and horses are technically different things. It looks kind of small.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call it a pony, even though the guy Clyde, the dad in this, calls it a horse.
Yeah.
But anyway, he goes to rest in a barn and gets discovered by, I would say, someone who wasn't a big guest star then, but definitely is a big guest star, Kristy McNichol.
That's right, yeah. Right. This was before, I guess, Family was on the air.
Yeah.
But, so she was pretty young, definitely pretty young in this, but later became, a big teen star.
Right.
And big icon of late 70s, maybe early 80s-ish TV.
Yeah. And music, right? She and her brother had some sort of music career.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess every teen actor had
right.
Give it a shot anyway.
Yeah.
So, she befriends Joe and feeds him and wants to keep him.
Her dad hates dogs.
Yeah. Well,
he had some experience, like his brother got thrown off a horse because of a dog.
Yeah. Now, yes, we're told that he hates dogs, but actually he's pretty level-headed in this episode, I think. Yeah. I mean, he's got reasonable things for doing what he wants to do. I mean, he's wary of the dog. Yeah. He wants to protect his, they've got chickens there.
Uh-huh. So you're saying,
I don't think it's entirely unreasonable that he doesn't.
If your daughter just showed up one day with a German Shepherd,
yeah,
tied to the back porch or something, you might say, well, we might not be able to keep this dog.
Yeah, I'd at least put some disclaimers on that and put the brakes on. You know, at least try to find the owner. You know, try to find out more about this dog rather than saying, well, okay, if he found us, it's meant to be. You can keep him. Clyde in this is played by Albert Salmi, who was a veteran character actor who was in a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of making the Fugitive connection more explicit for me. He was actually in one of the more notable episodes of The Fugitive, a two-parter where Richard Kimball, who was the man on the run, accused of a crime he did not commit, accused of murdering his wife.
Right.
Richard Kimball is basically driving around, encounters a nun, and Albert Salmi is like he's kind of somebody that sort of tries to screw Kimball out of some money he deserves. So he's kind of playing a heavy in that one as well, and he did that in a lot of episodes. And he was on Daniel Boone for a while and all over the place in 60s TV. So when I saw him, I kind of chuckled because I'm like, man, here's an actor from The Fugitive.
Yeah.
To me, the Fugitive connection is really, really explicit, and to the show's credit, actually, I enjoyed that. I mean, even like the theme music and the opening. I mean, it's narrated by Paul Frees, like we should mention.
Yeah.
And it's like William Conrad was the narrator in The Fugitive, and if you wanted to get somebody that sort of was reminiscent of William Conrad, but wasn't exactly, you could do a lot worse than Paul Frees. I mean, his narration is very, and the whole opening with like the freeze frames and the way it's done with the music, it reminded me of like some of the introduction of The Fugitive.
Yeah. Like when I heard that, I thought William Conrad.
Yeah.
And then didn't look it up right away, and then saw that it was Paul Frees, and then the next time when I actually watched the episode and heard his voice, I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah. Sure.
If you don't know Paul Frees, Boris Badenoff, and Burgermeister, Meisterburger, and Fowls, and other. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm sure it wasn't unintentional to have that similarity, and even like down to like some of the little musical cues. Like coming out of like what would have been like commercial breaks and stuff, coming back, like some of like the sort of wistful music that would play as you see Joe's plight, and then it seems like at the end of each episode, I mean we'll get there, but there's like a closing narrate, like the opening voiceover sets up his thing like in these dramatic tones, and then at the end it's kind of like Joe going off, and the sort of message that Joe thought he had a home for momentarily, but he's destined to continue to wander in the hopes that he can someday clear his name. It's very reminiscent of William Conrad's Fugitive narration, which I got a big kick out of that. So the producers did their homework on this. It really, I mean, it's a half hour, not an hour. All you need is the little Act 1 and Act 2. I mean, this could conceivably be a Quinn Martin production with a lot of this stuff, which would be great if it were, but so ups to Albert Salmi, who, and also, fun fact about Albert Salmi, he died in a murder-suicide that he did with his, well, better now than save it for the show notes, right?
Yeah.
I just want to get that out of the way. It was about probably 5 years after this, I believe. So that's probably one of the other things he's known for. But, I mean, he's a pretty recognizable name to be showing up in this. This is the first episode I'd ever seen, and it was kind of like seeing him. I was like, oh, okay, they got some real some real actors in this, and it kind of impressed me.
I mean, they seem familiar to me. I still don't know what. I was kind of looking through things, and nothing jumped out. It's like, oh, yeah, from that. But I'm sure that or just my obsession with murder-suicides.
Yeah. And that was a crime he did commit. I'm pretty sure there's no ambiguity about that, unfortunately. Well. So, back to Kristy McNichol.
I remember, like, in elementary school, like girls my age being really into Kristy McNichol. Like, I didn't really know who she was, but she was someone, or maybe she, they brought whatever, Teen Beat or something to school.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, wasn't she one of the ones, like, on the magazines?
Yeah.
The Dynamites, the Teen Beat.
Right. For some reason, I'm thinking someone had, like, a spiral notebook with her on the cover.
That could be.
Yeah.
I think it seems like, looking back, it seems like she was kind of in that era where she was probably a little bit more famous for being famous, but she would show up on like those variety specials and I think like Battle of the Network stars and things like that. Yeah. So she had a pretty good run for a while, and I think she's basically out of show business now. I guess.
I think
she was retired. On Empty Nest for years, and but this is one of her early television guest roles, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's believable as a young kid that wants a dog. She's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so she found the dog. The dad just let her keep it overnight. And they fed Joe some stew.
Mm.
He loves stew, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. And that was actually a funny, nice, just, because it shows so short, I think that, like, do you want us to bring you some stew? And then they cut to him eating the stew.
Yeah, he's chowing down.
There's, like, there's no transition.
Yeah.
So it's like it just magically appeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. And then the next day, like, the dad is gone, and the girl, Jody, is that her name? Josie.
Was it Josie?
The pony's name is Georgie.
Oh, yeah. The pony's name was Georgie, but the girl's name was, I might be getting it mixed up. It wasn't Kim. Then if it wasn't Kim, then it was Josie.
That's her middle name. She named Joe Kim after her middle name because she's not using it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it was Josie. Anyway, she gets on the Georgie and is riding around the corral, and Joe's just running around with them, not causing any trouble. And that's what she wants to prove, that Joe's a good dog. Yeah,
he's intelligent and, could be an asset to their... Maybe, he could help out, do odd jobs and stuff like that, and earn his keep.
Yeah. And the dad gets back. He had a little conversation with the local deputy. You can't make a dinner party or something. He's got family coming in, Anyway, and he gets, again, he's not too into the dogs. So he's like, get that dog out of the corral.
Well, he does have a question.
And the horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't like corrals.
Yeah.
He doesn't like things in corrals. It's what's held him back as a farmer.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to put the horse in the corral.
Yeah. Well,
I can't. My brother got hurt in the corral. It's no good.
You should just tear down that corral, really.
Right. Yeah.
Shouldn't even have it there if it bothers him that much.
But it's a symbol of
his
brother.
It would be like getting rid of his brother if he got rid of the corral. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
All right. You explained that pretty well. Yeah. So he wants Joe. He's want no part of Joe in any way, shape, or form, actually.
So while they're kind of, I don't know, arguing is too strong a word, but discussing that, something happens in the chicken area. A fox gets in.
Yeah.
And Joe sees it. And Joe has one of the distinctive things that Amy mentioned in passing there. He has flashbacks to his training.
Yeah.
So you get like a good close up of Joe's face, and then you get some like very kind of 70s choppily edited footage of some training he was having. In this case, it's jumping, and the audio changes. I'm gonna use the magic of our little mixer here to try to just mimic that for a second. Here, once I turn the right knob. So he'll hear. Sometimes he hears Joe, just Corey calling out Joe. I think in this case it was command, the word jump. So here we go, something like that. Jump, 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 jump. Pretty much like that.
Wow.
So, yeah, a little $6 million man. There's some of those kind of noises, and in fact, they show him jumping in the training jumping. He's like, whoop, some weird sound like that.
Yeah, and it does make a pretty trippy effect. If you're not looking for it, it would throw you. Like I was prepared for it by talking about it.
Right. She refers to it as a Vietnam flashback. I don't know if it's actually a Vietnam flashback, but it definitely does seem to have some a little bit of trauma involved.
Yeah, he's troubled.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, but he accesses that lesson, and he jumps into the chicken area and chases off the fox. But of course, they don't see the fox. They just see a dog going out, and the chicken's freaked out.
Yep, wrong place at the wrong time again.
Yeah.
Poor Joe.
Yep. So, Clyde is all mad about that. I mean, again, he doesn't know.
He says, "Hey, try to kill our chickens."
Yeah. Those are our chickens to kill.
Yeah. That's right.
So then, in I would say, classic kid on television manner, Josie comes up with a great plan. I'm going to run away for a few days, and when they see that you haven't killed me in the woods, they'll know you're a good dog.
Well,
it seems like something like one of the kids in Little House on the Prairie would have done.
Yeah, when you say it like that, it doesn't make much sense, but ultimately, there is something
to it. It works.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a rash decision by her, to be sure.
Yeah. So she takes Georgie, she takes Joe. They go out to her secret place in the woods, which she's decorated with her dolls. That, again, I think it was the way we're looking at the footage, but looked a little creepy.
Yeah.
These dolls just sitting in the woods.
Yeah.
Probably not in great condition since they're outside.
Definitely, yeah. I guess they're... She takes her older dolls, or ones that have been more played with, I guess, and leaves them out there.
Yeah.
But they're a little worse for the wear.
Yeah.
Worse for wear, yeah.
And then she immediately trips and hurts her leg. So she can't walk. She can't ride Georgie.
Yeah, it's a shame that she's been riding around the horse. She seems like an expert rider, at least to my novice eye. And then, she gets out of the woods and trips. Kind of an ignominious way for her to get hurt. But
she's like, it's like Mel Tillis.
Like Mel Tillis.
When he sings, his stammer goes away. When she gets on a horse or a pony, all her clumsiness goes away.
That's very well put.
But when she's on the steady ground, look out.
Yes, that's excellent comparison.
Yeah.
I like it.
They were probably on a show together.
Mel Tillis and Kristy McNichol.
Yeah.
I could see them, maybe.
Donnie and Marie or something.
Yeah, or even like a Love Boat, like early 80s.
Yeah.
Kind of, going in opposite directions.
Right.
Hopefully not in the same storyline.
No,
or he could be like, she could have been like
together.
A niece or something like that he's trying to keep away from, Fred Grandy or whatever.
Right.
In other words, a reasonable guy, like Clyde in this episode. He's got legitimate reasons.
Right. Yeah. So while she's, breaking her leg, the deputy comes back and he's found out about this award. And he's really concerned. He's like, we don't know what this dog could do.
Yeah. It's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
They do make it sound like, that he's dangerous. He's attacked a trainer. He's on the loose. He's a fugitive. Yeah.
Right.
They build him up.
They don't know, and they don't know that she's run away yet. And then they go to look for her and say, we got to get rid of this dog.
Yeah.
And or turn it in, and they figure out she's gone.
Dog is gone. Georgie's gone.
Yeah.
She's gone.
So, back at the scene of the accident, Joe has another flashback. This time, I think it's just the word "go," and she's saying "go," and he figures it out. He gets the bridle.
Nice.
I think that's the right word.
Sure.
And leads Georgie back to the farm.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
It is, yeah. And they finally figure out, and they go find her. Her leg's just bruised. Don't worry. She didn't break it.
Goodness.
She didn't even sprain it. Bad bruise.
Yeah.
And when they get home, at first I think Clyde says he's going to turn in the dog. And Corey's almost there. They're on the way.
Yeah.
And they know they're on the way. And then she's like, yeah, but he saved me. Look at that. And so he gives in and he lets Joe run.
Yeah.
And they all say, run, Joe, run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should do in each episode.
I hope that happens in every episode.
He begrudgingly lets them go. He's like, well, we owe him that much.
Yeah.
At least give him a head start.
Right. And he's honest about it.
Yeah.
When they show up.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
It's like, no, we let him go.
Yeah. And then they throw him into a military brig.
Right.
And waterboard him for the better part of 3 days.
He comes home and commits him. No.
Oh! Again, too soon. That was only 37 years ago. It's still raw, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I even brought it up.
I'm sorry you did.
But perhaps there was some trauma, as a result of the vicious torture that the Army gave
Right.
him.
That was going to be a spin-off show, Run, Clyde, Run.
Yeah.
He had flashbacks.
Yeah.
Wandered the countryside.
Yeah.
It was going to be more for adults.
Right, yeah.
I don't know that, kids wanted to watch Albert Salmi.
No, I don't think they did.
Bumble around.
I don't know if they did or not. Yeah, maybe one episode at a time, but not on a whole show.
No.
He didn't quite have the charisma of Joe, who...
No.
By the way,
He's a good acting dog.
According to my reference book I'm looking at here, Joe was actually played by a dog named. He had a name.
Okay.
It wasn't Joe as himself.
I was just surprised that he was played by a dog.
Yeah.
Like the way you said that. He's played by a dog.
Joe was played by a dog, actually, yes.
Right. No puppets or
not
a cat.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant as a this dog convincingly plays a dog. The dog's name is Heinrich of Midvale.
Wow.
And apparently it's not a dog named Heinrich of Midvale. It looks like this. The dog is named Heinrich of Midvale, which seems a little pretentious, but, he's an actor. This is the Encyclopedia of Daytime Television by Wesley Hyatt, a great book. Again, unfortunately, not a whole lot on Run, Joe, Run, but it kind of just points out what a relative obscurity this is compared to some of the other stuff we've talked about. But
do you think Heinrich of Midvale's owner, like whenever he talked to Heinrich of Midvale, said Heinrich of Midvale?
I hope he did, yeah.
Come here, Heinrich of Midvale. Come
every
here.
time, yeah.
You're a good boy, aren't you, Heinrich of Midvale? Yes, you are, Heinrich of Midvale.
Like, all of his stuff is, just Heinrich of Midvale is on like his tags, and he's got like a blanket that says Heinrich of Midvale on it, and
his mobile doghouse when they filmed this.
Yeah, right. He's got like a little director's chair that says Heinrich of Midvale on the back of it that he sat in between takes.
His bowl.
Yeah. Well, I hope he didn't exhibit any divish behavior on the set because
he didn't on camera.
No, he's good.
Yeah.
I mean, those flashback scenes, man.
They're intense.
There's some soulful eyes you're looking into.
Yeah.
In that dog.
Yep.
It's dramatic, and that is one of the best parts of the show. I'm sure that was probably one of the big selling points of it. Yeah. And maybe kids thought that was cool, but to us, it's kind of like looks like one of the weirder, kind of bizarre things. But I guess kids maybe loved that back then.
I guess so. Amy
said
did.
It left an imprint on her.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Right.
I'm just glad I'm just glad they didn't play. They might have made music, but weird sound effects. But I'm just glad they didn't play "For What It's Worth," in the background when he had those flashbacks, because I've had enough of that song to last me. That's something you maybe expect to hear from him, but they did not do that. So and we don't. Now the one thing you don't really see a lot of in this episode is Corey, Sergeant Corey.
No,
he's not. He's really a non-entity in this.
He's just in a Jeep. Yeah. Showing off his lovely locks.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I did watch another episode where it seems like he's got like an actual dialogue and just kind of more interacting with the people.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess go figure. Producers didn't think the kids wanted to see Sergeant Corey. They'd rather see the dog, which is probably a good call. The dog or the whatever kid actor they had in that episode befriending Joe. So it's probably a good call.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what else they need in this show? The one thing that's missing is like a Lieutenant Gerard type dog character to be tracking him down. Like, so you got Corey looking for him, but then you'd also have like a dog who's like obsessed with tracking down Joe.
Right.
Like at every turn, and sometimes Joe actually helps him, and he's got to admit that he's, and they say to the dog, like the dog's name would be Buck or something like that. Like, Buck, why don't you just let him go? He saved your life. And he's like, the law is the law. I've got to bring him in, Yeah, or words to that effect, yes.
What are you saying, Buck? The law is the law? He got a point.
Yeah.
Leave it to a dog to stick to the rules.
Yeah. Well, the German Shepherds, they're all about authority.
Yeah.
Because that's my vision. It'd be another German Shepherd,
of course,
which would make it all the more, poignant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I want to see more episodes of this now, actually.
I don't. We only have access to 4.
It's too bad. Yeah, it's a half-hour show, and you can see why. I mean, you just can't really get. I mean, there's not a whole lot happening in this episode.
No, I mean, I think
it's just enough for the time.
If you really wanted to do more with Corey, I guess you could expand it out that way.
Yeah, that would be the thing. You'd see like Corey and then Joe, and also you could do more with Joe. Now that I think about it, you could have him come up with. He'd find a different love interest each episode.
Right.
He'd get a different job each place, and you'd show him, getting to know the people that he works with, and maybe getting in other situations. You could do a little bit more to fill it out, but it's fine the way it is, I think.
Yeah, I hope there's an episode where he saves a town from corrupt bankers who are trying to take it over. And at the end, like the whole town, like 10 people, run, Joe, run.
Right. They all like, yeah. And like, somebody from the military or some sheriff is trying to, find out, where's Joe? And they're all like, kind of step forward, like, I'm Joe. Yeah. I'm Joe, and they all like have like kerchiefs around their neck like a dog would or something like that. And they all step up and like, and Joe's in there too, but the sheriff can't tell which one's Joe because they're all pretending to be Joe,
That one looks like a poodle, but
right.
Says Joe.
Yeah.
What if Joe had been in Wyoming? Was it Wyoming when the death probe showed up?
Ooh, man, what a crossover that would have been.
I think
Joe versus the death probe.
I think they could have finished off the death probe much quicker
with the advantage of using Joe
as like teamwork.
Yeah.
Steve Austin and Joe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some. I could see they're kindred spirits in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he would just like throw Joe at the death probe, or
hope
Joe
not.
would. Maybe they could just they do like a flanking maneuver where one of them distracts while the other one kind of goes in and like Joe bites the death probe or something like that.
Right. Or maybe Joe could have, rather than descending from a helicopter and hooking the thing, maybe Joe could have just jumped from a hill.
Yeah.
His jumping prowess.
Right.
Landed on top of it and hooked the thing.
Yeah, and they'd still have like Steve like in the helicopter above, like guiding him,
Right, yeah.
All right, just a little bit now, yeah. All right, now take that that switch there, just bite it off, yeah. And just, yeah, I could definitely see that. Death Probe, of course, from $6 Million Man, which we covered in our first season.
Yeah. Now there is I saw on YouTube a promo for an episode of The Bionic Woman where there's a bionic German Shepherd.
Oh.
What do you think the odds are Heinrich of Midvale is playing that bionic? And the bionic German Shepherd is like going nuts. Like didn't take. Yeah, the bionics didn't take. And
he had a bad.
He's having some sort of reaction, and Rudy is like going to have to put that dog down.
Oh.
And the Bionic Woman, this is all in like a 30-second promo.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like, could that happen to me? Would you have to put me down?
Oh. Yeah.
Legitimate concern.
Yeah, it definitely is. Wow.
Yeah. And I think the episode's called The Bionic Dog.
Wow. And Lindsay Wagner's like foaming at the mouth in it.
Yeah.
Man. That's intense.
Yeah, if you see a bionic person foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, you got to put him down. Right. You can't salvage him from that point.
No.
The bionics didn't take. I like that. Yeah. Look good for a minute, but the clicking noise they're doing is just totally not bionic. Not the same. Well, that's one for our crack research staff to look at. The career of Heinrich of Midvale. Wow. That'll be awesome if that is indeed the same dog. But we'll definitely check that out. And
pets
put it
are sometimes in
playlist.
IMDb, so we should. Our pets, animals.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just because it's an animal doesn't mean it's a pet, Mike.
Right, I know. I apologize.
All right, that's all right.
Joe clearly wasn't a pet.
No, he was nobody's pet.
Occasionally a pet. He was, Kristy McNichol's pet for like a day.
Yeah, he was willing to be that. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, too, Joe. I wonder if he's tempted sometimes to like give it all up and just try to blend in somewhere. Or
it seems like that's what he's trying. And
if he's obsessed with clearing his name, though.
I think maybe Joe doesn't quite understand.
I think you may be underestimating him.
I don't want to insult Joe, but it seems like, clearly no one understands. Maybe it's the humans that don't understand. This Corey guy is going to help him.
Yeah.
Because he shows up, Joe's out of there.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, you and I don't understand exactly how Corey's going to clear him, so I guess I wouldn't expect Joe to either. Now that you mention it. Yeah. It just seems circumstances, conspire to keep him on the lam.
Yeah.
But.
So that second season, apparently, Corey is not on it.
Correct.
He's gone overseas, back in the army or something, and Joe is traveling the country with some dude. Yeah,
a mountaineer. He's described as in here, named Josh McCoy.
Yeah.
So
unless he's like a Denver Pyle type character.
Yeah.
I'm not as excited about that.
Yeah, neither am I. I don't know if that format change really worked, but
I understand. You know, dramatically speaking, you don't always want a character on his own for too often.
Yeah, especially
you need
when
someone to talk to. But if the character in question can't talk,
right. So you got another thing.
Yeah.
Going there to begin with.
Right. Because I liked watching Joe just in that first scene, just fending for himself.
Yeah, turning on a water spigot and getting himself a drink.
Right.
And I think, didn't he shut it off, too, after he was done with it?
I don't know. He's got chased off by a hose.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Which was interesting, too. It's like, the person, I don't know why that's interesting, but the person had the hose attached somewhere else, not to that water spigot, but maybe one on the house or something. But
boy, that house was living in the lap of luxury.
Yeah.
Spigots all over the place.
I know.
Water everywhere, but none for Joe to drink.
Nope. Just a dog.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think all the episodes we have access to are from that first season. I'm curious now. I wouldn't mind seeing a second season episode to see, but I'm kind of surprised. In a way, I'm surprised that they got 2 seasons out of this. Maybe they figured they needed to do something the second, but that's a pretty good run for this kind of show, it seems like to me. On Saturday morning.
Yeah. Maybe it had to do with, like animation especially gets ordered in a different way than regular shows.
Yeah, I really hadn't heard of this show, I don't think, until Amy mentioned it. I don't remember this ever coming across anywhere.
Yeah.
In all my years of television loving, but I'm glad we've sort of rediscovered it.
Yeah.
Run Joe Run. It's interesting. It's one of the better animal shows I've seen. For sure. I mean, like I said, it's well produced. The sound effects, the music. I mean, we're kind of poking fun of the flashbacks, but it's not. Yeah. It's not totally cheesy. I mean, there's definitely a level of professionalism, and you're bringing in like real actors to work with the Heinrich of Midvale. That may be a Heinrich of Midvale thing. He didn't want to work with any scrubs. He wanted
it's part of his contract.
Pros, yeah.
It's got to be one name actor.
Had approval, yeah.
One working actor.
Yeah.
I don't know if Albert Salmi's a name actor, but
one recognizable actor, one child actor,
right,
and the rest, relatives of Heinrich of Midvale that he had cast to,
right, and he put not just his paw print, but he had because clearly he comes from some sort of lineage.
Yeah,
he has like a seal, a wax seal that he puts his paw on.
Yes, and then he's good with it.
Yeah, the Heinrich of Midvale seal of approval.
Right. Well, so what do you think? You recommend this?
Yeah, if people can find it.
I don't know if it's worth. To be honest, Amy's a great friend and appreciate all her support. But if I had to do it again, if I had to go to New Zealand to track it down, maybe if I found some second season episodes, but I'd at least go and look for something else. I don't know if I'd go back just for Run Joe Run.
Right.
But it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
This episode brought to you by Clyde. Living proof that even a man who hates dogs can grow to love them. This episode also brought to you by the Actors and Other People for Animals Legal Defense Fund, defending fugitive animals since 1975. This episode also brought to you by Sergeant Will Corey. Have you seen my dog? Seriously, it's been 40 years and I got stuff to do, man. What we'd like to see.
Here at the Top was a sitcom. Was that on ABC?
I think it was NBC, maybe.
Is it in your book? We have reference materials. This is a professional show.
We take this seriously.
We have the IMDb on my cell phone, and we have...
I'm going to verify You're at the Top, but why don't you explain the great appeal of You're at the Top? Because it will be obvious once you explain it.
A number of... Before I tell you who starred in it, which that's the real treat, but it's about 2 musicians who make a deal with the devil to become successful for a year. Those musicians were played by Greg Evigan and Paul Schaefer. Greg Evigan went on to be the star of BJ and the Bear, possibly another candidate for what we'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Schaefer, of course, went on to many things, most notably being the band leader at the Late Night with David Letterman and the Late Show with David Letterman. And, of course, has a storied career with SNL and all sorts of other projects. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a great small part in Spinal Tap. And that's enough. Those 2 guys right there.
Exactly. That alone, and the stills that have survived.
And they're both actually musicians, so they were doing their songs and the stuff. And I've seen a promo on YouTube and heard the theme song, which was a single, that they recorded. This mostly sounds like Greg Evigan. Like, I don't really hear a lot of Paul Schaefer, but there are keyboards, so I assume he's on there. But also Mickey Rooney was on there. I don't know who Mickey Rooney played. Was he the devil? Was he just a jerk?
Was Mickey Rooney actually on this one, or was that another one that he was on?
I thought he was on that one.
I'm not sure. I think
thought Paul Schaefer had a Mickey Rooney story.
Oh, that's right. It was from Year at the Top. He's not listed here in the regular cast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the fact that Greg Evigan and Paul Schaefer play characters named Greg and Paul is great.
Do you think they're roommates?
Yes. Apparently they were in Boise, Idaho, and they moved to Hollywood from Boise.
Well, that's a good idea if you're going to make a music career. I don't think Boise is the place to...
No. Nothing against Boise, Idaho, but it's not a hotbed of rock music. And
no. Yeah,
you mentioned the devil. They basically, unwittingly, I think, sell their soul to the devil to get fame and fortune.
Oh, yeah, it's like an accidental. Like they just think they're signing a deal with an agent.
Yes.
Oh, I believe one of the Drummond's replacements for Mrs. Garrett was on there. Yeah, Drew Holes.
Yes, and this is a Norman Lear show too.
Yeah, Mickey Rooney was in one episode. I think he was in the pilot, probably.
Okay, maybe he was the devil.
I think he was the devil. They don't. Well,
or maybe
he was Uncle Mickey Durbin.
Okay, so maybe they lived with him before they moved in Idaho.
Yeah,
and Mixer was with them in Idaho. Yeah, and then they go out to.
For what it's worth, Paul Schaefer on Gilbert Gottfried's podcast tells a great story about working on the show and Mickey Rooney.
That's right, yeah. I got confused because he's not listed in the cast here, but I'm a little concerned about that. Actually, it looks like Mickey Rooney's place in television history, the Year at the Top, it looks like it's being erased from history, at least the official history that I'm looking at, and that concerns me a little bit. That
is concerning. I mean, he's Mickey Rooney.
He sure is.
He was a movie star for his entire life.
The show, by the way, was on CBS.
CBS.
For 5 episodes.
Okay.
None of which, seem to be accessible.
That is disappointing.
And Don Kirshner was the music supervisor.
Yeah, that's right. And Paul Schaefer also has a Don Kirshner impression. That he did that on SNL, right?
Yes, that was one of his legendary things on Saturday Night Live. So, yes, the idea was that they would have to sign away their souls to get fame and fortune. And I guess the son of the devil was the promoter that they worked with. And the idea was that he would show them like what their Year at the Top would be like. And he kept trying. So apparently they never actually signed the contract, but this guy kept trying to tempt them to sign the contract. So they're not actually spending a year at the top, but they're trying to make it like legitimately, despite this temptation.
Okay.
See, this sounds pretty interesting.
It does sound interesting.
I mean, I'd like to see
like the music angle.
Yeah.
Partly because when they show the music industry in TV and movies, it's always ridiculous.
Yeah.
You don't have to know much about it to know.
Right.
That is weird. Like they're like, I guess at some point in the history of the music industry, there were individual owners of record companies.
Yeah, right.
But that's the way it's always played. Like on Wise Guy, there was a whole thing about that.
Yeah, there's like one guy.
Yeah. And the people that own these two or whatever, everyone hates each other.
Now, this may not be much of an exception if there's the son of the devil is involved here. So there may be some ridiculousness in Year at the Top's view of the music industry as well.
I'm sure.
But I'd like to see what they did with it.
Yeah. And I wonder, I think, Greg Evigan, on My Two Dads, he tended to play keyboards when you saw him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think he did, but yeah. I feel like he plays guitar in this. It'd be weird to have a band with 2 keyboard players. I mean, that's all you have.
Exclusively 2 keyboard
You're
players.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I
feel like, Greg was the front man. He's got the vocal chops, and of course he's legendary for his good looks.
Yeah,
and Paul Schaefer's legendary for backing people up.
Right. I'm wondering...
and I don't mean that in a bad...
right.
Just,
yeah.
That's what he does. He makes he's the support that makes the thing work.
Yeah, I'm wondering how the Greg and Paul, I'm wondering if they were like a songwriting duo of some kind, or if they were...
Yeah. I feel like they were. I feel like
going to start a band per se, or if they were just hoping to get in the industry somehow.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there are probably a lot of scenes of them trying to write songs together.
I wish there are a lot. I hope there are a lot of scenes of them writing songs together.
Because those scenes are always great too.
Yeah.
Kind of. Well, My Two Dads had that, right? Didn't they? No. I was gonna say they were writing partners, but that wasn't the case.
Well, the best
Paul
part...
Reiser had a totally different job.
Yeah, he was like
I thought they wrote
tight
jingles
guy.
together.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I think he wrote jingles by himself.
The best part of Ishtar is when Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty are writing songs together. I'll say that. So, yeah, I think that'd definitely be cool to watch them composing songs on the fly on Year at the Top.
Well, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to play the promo.
Greg falls for the beautiful Kelly Christopher.
She loves me.
But she, too, has a deal with the devil.
Kelly, it's midnight. Bye-bye time.
A Year at the Top. Sunday at 8:30, 7:30 Central and Mountain.
Apparently it's hilarious. I know that much.
It looked cool. I didn't hear much, but I saw. I could see in the phone. I've never seen that promo.
Yeah, it's there on YouTube.
That
and the theme song.
I'll have to check that out.
And it looks like Busting Loose airs after that.
Oh, the Adam Arkin.
Is that what that is?
I think there was a TV version with Adam Arkin. I think, a version of the movie.
Yeah, who was in that movie?
Was it Richard Pryor? Bustin' Loose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, point being,
and Adam Arkin was playing the Richard Pryor part.
I don't know anything about Bustin' Loose, the show, but it didn't get much of a good lead in from Year at the Top.
Apparently not.
Apparently, because Year at the Top only lasted a handful of episodes.
Yeah.
But
now that brings up the interesting part of that, though. Is always whenever you hear about like someone who goes on to better things, maybe, and they have some show that gets canceled early. You always think about well, what would have happened if what if Year at the Top had been on for say 7 seasons?
Right,
Paul Schaefer wouldn't have been on Letterman.
He wouldn't have been on Letterman. Yeah.
No BJ and the Bear.
Right.
Or BJ and the Bear with Tom Selleck or something.
Yeah.
It would have been strange.
Yeah, it definitely would have changed things.
Yeah. For
the better? I doubt it, but I'd like to find out for myself. This is why it's frustrating.
Maybe they would have gotten into that kind of thing with, maybe there was or maybe they did. Maybe there's a show where the devil showed them what their lives would be like, or the son of the devil, if they took his deal.
Yeah.
Maybe that happened all the time. Maybe that's part of what he did. And you got to see them in cool costumes.
Like in. I don't know, but I hope maybe like the Paley Center, somebody has some copies of this, or
Yeah, that's probably the answer to this entire question. Just go to the Paley Center and watch.
Yeah,
just go to New York or LA and watch.
Yeah, and then 30 minutes later we walk out. Wow, that wasn't so good after all. I hope not.
Maybe it's an unfortunate situation where they erase the tapes.
Oh, I hope not. It definitely sounds like there's so much talent behind it. Norman Lear alone makes it, you think it has some historical significance.
Right.
So, I don't know what's happened to this, but it didn't sound like it was an entirely a positive experience by everybody that worked on it. So it was
right.
Kind of an ill-fated venture from the get-go, it seems like.
Like maybe Norman Lear's involvement was kind of hands-off, too. Like, there's all these things he was involved in just because his company was involved in.
Right. That's very possible. Paul Schaefer does talk about this in his biography about this show, in his book, but he doesn't say where to find copies of it, so that's incomplete. Right. But I think that's a good pick. I'd like to watch it as well.
All right. That was
what we'd like to see.
A year at the top. You got it made, it's a sure thing that you're gonna make it. A year at the top, well, don't be afraid when the chance comes along, you must take it. You'll go far, the world's gonna know who you are. It's unreal, but wouldn't you say it's a hell of a deal? It happened so fast, how long can it last?
Join us next time for another exciting episode of Battle of the Network Shows. Learn more, leave feedback, and suggest future episodes at battleofthenetworkshows.com. Follow us on Twitter at BATNet Shows, and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Battle of the Network Shows.
Honey, I think the time has come for you to have a dog of your own. How would you like that?
Yes, Daddy. I'd like that very much.
It has been said that love returns love and is a part of all living things. And so Joe runs on, and in his mind is the memory of a little girl who loved him and wasn't afraid. And there's another memory, too, of Corey. Perhaps one day he'll find Joe and finally set him free.